والآن نتابع مع الأستاذ طون بينينيز المتحدث باسم منظمة إنقاذ دجلة. المنصة لكم، تفضلوا أستاذ.
Do we have translation? Sorry, I will speak to you in English. So good morning, or good afternoon to all of you. It's really my great pleasure and honor to be here with all of you in this important event. And I'm here today on behalf of Save the Tigers. Yes. Save the Tigers is a broad coalition of civil society organizations from Iraq, Europe, and the Middle East. We are working on sustainable water management of the Tigris-Euphrates basin. And well, we are obviously here to discuss today how we can make progress in the current water crisis in northeast Syria and the critical water levels of the Euphrates River. So representing the NGOs which launched Save the Tigers, I would briefly like to discuss what role we can have in the protection of the international conventions that were already mentioned by my predecessor, and what role international organizations can have in mitigating the impacts of the water crisis. Okay. In Iraq, for example, we managed to conduct public solidarity actions jointly with organizations in other countries. We published research about the impact of dams. We invited international media to cover the water crisis in Iraq, and we spoke about water scarcity and pollution in Iraq at international platforms, which included European parliaments, the UN Climate Change Conference, and even UNESCO. And one of the topics that we covered was the Ilizu Dam in Turkey, which has a major impact on Iraq, as you know. So NGOs or international organizations are operating across northeast Syria. And as you all know, our purpose is mostly to deliver services, including health, protection, and livelihoods. But we have also played a role in facilitating cooperation over transboundary waters as facilitators, and we have filled gaps in information and to mitigate the power imbalances that exist in the region. Especially in this case where Turkey has a large institutional capacity and there's an uneven access to data and technical information between Turkey and NES. Our strength as international organizations is our ability to talk to many stakeholders, and we believe that this work can be best done by a group where local authorities meet, also civil society organizations in northeast Syria, as well as international organizations. But you may ask, what can international organizations concretely do to support northeast Syria in the water crisis? First, we can address the immediate needs, so access to clean water, sanitation, as well as rehabilitating the infrastructure. Second, we are here to support local capacity, so we can provide training in livelihoods, which can include agriculture, and build up technical knowledge and capacity. This can also foster broader regional cooperation in the absence of strong negotiation capacity. To promote short-term security for northeast Syria, we can monitor the water flows, the state of the rivers, in case of possibly reduced flows. Of course, we can also urge action by other members of the international community. Currently, we are engaging and doing advocacy at this particular forum. We are testifying before international committees about the water crisis in NES. We are alerting states and other international organizations about this water crisis, publishing information with data, and creating space at the international level where communities from NES can voice their concerns. Another possibility is that we can mediate with stakeholders, facilitating workshops or propose neutral forums for talks or negotiations, though this depends, of course, on the political climate. We as international organizations, we can promote networking and collaboration. We can create connections between civil society groups. We can use media to promote a solution to the crisis. We can involve universities, researchers, and encourage collaboration among different groups. Last point here is that I want to mention that civil society also has a key role to play through engagement. And I think engagement of civil society across the region would be very important to influence the water policies, especially of Turkey. So international organizations mostly agree that fair water management cannot be conducted without public participation and democratic institutions. So steps in this direction have already been taken in the Middle East by local and regional campaigns against destructive dams and poor water policies in recent years. I want to refer in this case to the Mesopotamia Water Forum, which was organized in Suleymaniye in 2019 and digitally last year. This included more than 200 participants from the states of Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and Iran, as well as internationals. This was an opportunity to discuss water management and policies that abuse water and river ecosystems. Another global example is the World Commission on Dams, which existed around the year 2000 and which gathered more than 2,000 organizations from across the world who came together, and they said no dam should be built without approval of the affected people. The World Commission on Dams is a very good example of public participation, coordination, and civil society having a global impact, and also a case in which international organizations took the lead. The use of international law is a good window of opportunity for international advocacy by international organizations. My predecessor already talked about the different conventions that exist. But we have, of course, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which says that everybody has the right to safe drinking water and sanitation. There are also the UN Sustainable Goals, which say that availability of water and sanitation must be ensured for everyone. But the most important instrument is the 1997 Convention of the UN on the water courses that also my predecessor mentioned, which is actually the only global treaty that governs the management and the use of international water courses. It has been signed by Syria and Iraq, but not by Turkey. So this convention basically creates the basic rules for management and cooperation of transboundary waters. It entered into force several years ago, and it could serve as the basis for an agreement over the Euphrates River. The principles of this convention of equitable use, right to information, and accountability around shared waters can offer a solution to the water crisis. International organizations have begun advocacy to support the creation of a water crisis group in NES. This could consist of a three-steps mediation, negotiation approach. First of all, we could support direct negotiations between Northeast Syria, Iraq, and Turkey, which to some extent has begun, as the governments have tried to engage in a dialogue. But the three disagree on the definition of what constitutes an international river and on the application of international laws and conventions. It might therefore be better to focus specifically on particular dams or water cuts, not water shares or management in general. Negotiations should remind Turkey that Syria is a neighbor and that water policy is part of any economic or political agreement for the future. Second, we could support mediation. There could be a role for international actors, especially countries that have good relations with both Northeast Syria and Turkey, or that share mutual treaties or conventions with them, to mediate. Third, if Turkey does not engage in regional discussions, the issue could be brought to intergovernmental organizations, of which the United Nations Security Council is the highest level. To find a genuine solution to the water crisis, all stakeholders must be able and willing to participate and perceive the issue as a big priority. Any solution should also consider drought, low rainfalls, maintenance of water infrastructure, and promote a combined approach. Then possible solutions can be negotiated. So I hope in this meeting we can come to a joint strategy that eventually will combine the humanitarian sector, regional actors, and the UN. I thank you for listening. Thank you.